I am just all over the place today. Hi, Carrie. Hi, Sheila. It's Lauren Conlin from Pop Crime TV. I wanted to jump on. I haven't been feeling like myself or very well this week. This weekend, my kids were sick. So I haven't really been able to do any live streams. I've kind of been hiding behind the podcast microphone and not really showing myself. But I feel like there's a lot going on. So I did want to explain the latest civil suits against Sean Combs, but also the crazy Abercrombie former CEO indictment of Mike Jeffries. So that is really disturbing, but also not surprising, I guess. I think this was in the news a while ago that it was coming, but we didn't know when. So let's just, oh, thank you so much, Carrie. I really appreciate you. So let's go over quickly Mike Jeffries. So this indictment, it involves, and I'll pull it up in a second, it involves some serious allegations against former Abercrombie and Fitch CEO Michael Jeffries and his partner Matthew Smith and James Jacobson. So they are accused, essentially, I'm going to break this down on the indictment, but I'm just giving a rundown so far. But they are accused of operating an international sex trafficking business from 2008 to 2015. So the indictment claims that they recruited men, some under false pretenses. Of course, you're going to become an Abercrombie model. Look how rich and famous you're going to become to participate in commercial sex acts. So these men were allegedly, and listen, this is going to sound familiar, same MO as Diddy. They were allegedly drugged and forced into these acts under the pretenses that they were going to get modeling jobs or career opportunities. So the charges include sex trafficking, interstate prostitution, and there's an array of other illegal activities that I'll get to. So allegedly, these men, Mike Jeffries, Matthew Smith, and James Jacobson, they paid for these individuals. Like they actually paid them money to come to these parties. And, that was a thing when I was in college. I went to college in New York City. And I do remember, oh, hey, Taryn, how are you? I just saw that you're in here. Hey, Sheila. So it was a thing. I do remember outside of Marymount, where I went to college, there would be some characters hanging out being like, hey, can we pay you to come to this party? Or they would say, I mean, I'm sure people have dealt with this, but the promoters who would say, we will get you into the hottest club. You can be at our table and you won't have to pay a thing. And you can, drink from these ridiculously huge champagne bottles and vodka bottles. And yeah, it was a thing. So these guys allegedly paid for these men to attend these parties, and they were called sex events, really. And this was an international thing. I mean, think of how loaded Mike Jeffries is or was. So let's get to, I'm going to pull up the indictment right now. There's some really disturbing stuff in here, as you can imagine. All right. Ugh, it really does make me sick to my stomach that all of this is just coming to a head now. Yeah. Hey, Sam, how are you? I feel like it's funny. I've taken so many cold meds, and I'm actually, this sounds horrible, but I've been on one of my kids' antibiotics too, because I was like, I'm sure I have whatever the hell they had. But it makes your stomach hurt. So, and I'm sure I'm still drinking coffee, so that doesn't help either. Okay, here is the indictment. Hey, Disney. Hi, Amanda. Okay, here we go. So, these are the charges. Let's just get to it. All right, from approximately 1992 to 2014, the defendant Michael S. Jeffries, CEO of Abercrombie, blah, 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 it details it. The Jeffries family office was established to manage Jeffries' personal income and assets, which included properties in Watermill, New York and New York, New York. So this guy had some money. If you're not familiar, I'll make myself a little bigger here. Hey, Dizzy, if you're not familiar, Manhattan, this is where I live. Manhattan is not cheap. Apartments are expensive. And Watermill is actually out in the Hamptons. It's beautiful. So this guy had property in Manhattan and in the Hamptons. So the defendant, Matthew C. Smith, he was Jeffries' romantic partner as well as an employee of the Jeffries family office. And by the way, a family office is really just, it's like a trust that's set up for the family that all the money kind of runs through. And yeah, family offices can be managed by individuals, they can be managed by banks, whatever. So, I just scooched that up. So allegedly, Matthew Smith, he basically was the person who, or I'm sorry, JFO, the Jeffries family office, facilitated Jeffries and Smith's personal and social lives. So this is where all their money came from. This is where they got money to travel and how they paid their bills and whatnot. And then we have the defendant, James T. Jacobson, known as Jim Jake, Mrs. Cook, and Todd. I don't quite understand that, so we'll have to dive into that. He was employed by Michael Jeffries and Matthew Smith to recruit, interview, and hire men to perform these commercial sex acts for Jeffries and for Smith, including at the New York properties. So going into the sex trafficking and prostitution business from approximately 2008 to 2015, Michael Jeffries, Matthew Smith, and Jim Jake, I'm just going to call him Jim Jake, it's easier. They operated this international sex trafficking and prostitution business, and they relied on the fact that Jeffries had this power. He had the power because he was the CEO of Abercrombie and numerous people he was in charge of in this network. So he really seemed to hold that over people's head. And as part of the international sex trafficking and prostitution business, the defendants paid for dozens of men, including among others, and we will get there, John Doe's 1 through 15, individuals whose identities are known to the grand jury, but obviously they're not known to us. And allegedly, this was international. So this happened in places like England, France, Morocco. I'm going to go down on this suit and go to the next page for you guys. Morocco. Gosh, this is like when you have that much money, man, it's like, imagine. Oh, Carrie, you're here. I'm so happy to see Carrie. Love it. So yeah, they're telling these guys, we're going to take you on these sick vacations to Saint Tropez, blah blah blah. I mean, I kind of get it. So going on, ugh, gross, gross, gross. I'm skipping through this. So the defendant, Jim Jake, traveled throughout the US to internationally recruit and interview men for the sex events. This was like his job. His one job was to go and find unsuspecting boys and men, essentially. So following the tryout, or let's get to what the tryout was. The tryout allegedly was that they required the candidates to first engage in sex acts with Jim Jake. So he was running these like auditions, tryouts. And so he most likely, I'm going to be crude for a minute, but most likely he had these guys performing oral sex on him or whatever it was. So then following the tryout, if he was happy with the way they performed, and I'm speculating here based on the lawsuit or the indictment, I'm sorry, how they performed would determine if they were accepted. And then defendant Matt Smith approved the candidates prior to them being presented to Jeffries. So, gosh. So then the defendants, Jeffries, Matt Smith, Jim Jake, and others acting at their direction, other employees, they employed coercive, fraudulent, and deceptive tactics in connection with this recruiting, hiring, and transporting, obtaining, maintaining, and soliciting the payment of these men to engage in commercial sex. Now, for example, this is a great example. They employed a referral system and an interview process that really failed to inform the men of the details of these sex events before they attended them. So these men would show up not really knowing what was expected of them. And then they would get there and they would realize, okay, I'm expected to do all this stuff, like give oral sex, or in the lawsuit, it actually says the insertion of large sex toys into the anus and sorry, this is so wrong. High pressured enemas administered by inserting a hose into the anus. So these guys would show up. Oh, hey, Simi. Hey there. Yeah, so these guys would show up and be expected to do all this. Oh, you know what? I just realized my primetime crime thing was in the corner. Let me switch that out. Somebody tell me next time. Oh my goodness. Here we go. That's better. Okay, so they would show up and be expected to do these things like insert the whatchamacallit in the anus. And by the way, if you guys have ever gotten a colonic, I used to do them in my 20s. It's awful. It's painful. I mean, a high pressure, why would they want a high pressure water hose up there? That literally makes you crap your pants. I'm really at a loss as to why. Oh, wait. What if they I have a thought. What if they, and sounds horrible, what if they made them do that so that they would clean themselves out before they were assaulted so it wouldn't get messy? Is that horrible? I don't know. Maybe that's a dumb thing to say, but I'm just thinking. Just thinking out loud. So, oh, I did not realize that. Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah. So if you missed it, I'll reread that part. It says that when they got to these sex parties, these boys or men did not know what was expected of them, so they would have to insert large sex toys into the anus and then high pressured enemas administered by inserting a hose into the anus. So again, to get into these parties, it was required that the candidates first participate in a sexual encounter or tryout with Jim Jakes without advance notice. They just probably thought they were showing up for some kind of Abercrombie tryout, maybe take your shirt off, who knows. So then these men were made to believe that attending these sex events would yield to modeling opportunities with Abercrombie or otherwise benefit their careers. And then in the alternative, they were told that if they did not comply with these certain requests and certain acts, that would actually harm their careers. So they would also, like, this is kind of genius. They would incorporate Abercrombie products into the sex events, so the men would kind of feel comfortable in saying, "Oh yeah, well, there's Abercrombie jeans over there. There's this, there's that. I feel safe. I feel like, yeah, this is definitely an Abercrombie event because I see the logos." Yeah, it's so disgusting. So moving on. Uh, they are alleging that Jeffries and Smith and Jim Jakes physically groomed the men oh gosh, I didn't see this part. Prior to the sex events, including at times shaving the men's genitals without their notice, or without advance notice, requiring men to relinquish personal items. This is kind of like Diddy, clothing, wallet, cell phone, and they were stored for them. So it kind of made it difficult for these guys to leave. And then, just like Diddy, they required these men to sign non disclosure agreements. So they were not allowed to talk about these events with family and friends. And then in these agreements, allegedly, they said that if they broke the agreements, that they would have to pay them money. So can you imagine that? Like being a young kid, just wanting to be an aspiring model. And if you told what happened to you after you signed this, you would actually be forced to pay money that you don't have. That is so sick. I'm like so disgusted by that. And that's just like That's what upsets me about this. I feel like when you live in cities like New York City and you live in Los Angeles and you move here from a small town, like many of us have, so many people in these cities are transplants because we have these big dreams and we're broke. And my heart really goes out to these guys who were thinking that they stumbled across a big opportunity, and I'm just going to say it, I'm not even going to say alleged sketchballs or alleged sick individuals, but these sick individuals, these sick sketchy men actually did this to them. I'll say allegedly there. uh but yeah, I truly believe it all, and I truly believe that Mike Jeffries really abused his power as the CEO of Abercrombie. Yes, sorry, I did not even see that you said this, but this is exactly what I'm talking about. So, just going back to the suit, it's making me so angry as I go on. So, yes, they require these men to sign these NDAs, and they said that if you tell, you're going to owe us XYZ sum of money. So, then this is they intentionally recruited heterosexual men who were unwilling to engage in particular sex acts, including anal sex, and insisted that men who previously stated that they were unwilling to engage in these sex acts, including anal sex, uh, they stated that they must. They stated, you're here, you have to. So it was almost like a mind game. They were knowingly recruiting men that weren't gay, and they were getting them there, and they were saying, oh, well, now you have to do this. And if you don't, here come all the threats. So what they would do, similar to Diddy, allegedly, they would give the men alcohol and then they would give them Viagra. I mean, like they really thought this out. This really indicates to me that this was so premeditated and they knew exactly what they were doing. And they also gave them something called poppers. So, poppers were, I guess, muscle relaxers. I've never heard of poppers, but actually maybe I have. But yeah, muscle relaxers just to get them nice and loose, along with the Viagra. And then, like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm thinking about my husband, who's a heterosexual man. I don't think that any amount of Viagra or muscle relaxer or alcohol would get him to engage in any of these acts. I mean, I don't think so, but hey, who knows? Um, so they also had staff at these parties. Like they actually had security everywhere, ensuring that these men attending the parties did not leave until Jeffries and Smith decided that they were over. And then on more than one occasion, defendants Jeffries and Smith either directed others or they would personally inject men. Oh gosh. Okay. Trigger warning. They would personally inject men in their penises with a prescription grade erection inducing substance. So they would, instead of waiting for the Viagra to kick in, they had some kind of liquid that they would inject. God, can you imagine being these kids getting a needle into your dick? I'm sorry, excuse my language, but for the purpose of causing men to engage in sex acts in which they were otherwise physically incapable of doing or unwilling, meaning straight men did not want to have anal sex, but they were not given a choice, apparently. And so if you were fighting this, they would stick a needle in your dick. Um, I'm so sorry for my language this morning. I don't know how else to say this. Hey Steve, how's it going? So wait, did you sorry, you said hogs. I know, right, Steve? Who doesn't do that? Imagine that though, guys, that your significant other doesn't want to do this with you and you're like, "Oh, let me just get a needle and just poke you with this." Yeah. Oh, MJ, you're so sweet. You like this language. You know, guys, I always tread this fine line of I want to be a credible reporter to everyone that does report these facts. I want to be respected as a professional, but it's really hard sometimes when I'm doing these casual YouTubes, I guess, because I do have a bit of a potty mouth. If you ever hung out with me in person, you would know this. So yeah, I do feel a little bad. I always struggle with that. So I'm going through making sure. Okay, so thank you so much. I appreciate that. And real women do curse, and I'm on another level today, Carrie. Yeah, seriously. All right, let's go back to this because I want to get everybody out of here before, Boone comes back, and I know that there's just a lot going on right now. So, all right. So, okay, on more than one occasion, either Smith or Jeffries themselves put these needles into these unsuspecting, most likely hetero men's penises. So they would do these acts. Um, and these would cause these men very painful reactions that would last for several hours. Imagine that you were just unsuspecting. You never, I mean, I don't know, like, I'm not a dude, and Steve, I don't want to put you on the spot so you don't have to answer, but like, if you're not used to Viagra, and I've seen this in the movies and whatever, and it's probably different, but I'm imagining you're looking down and you're like, what's going on? It won't stop. It must have been terrifying, especially when you're on all these weird drugs. So yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. But yeah, Steve, if you don't mind chiming in, I feel like you're the only man that would really understand this, and you don't have to say if you've used Viagra. I totally don't. I don't want to put you on that. Okay, so you've never had to go that route, but anyway, if there's any man in this chat that wants to talk about Viagra and your first experience with it, I would love to hear about it as long as you're okay with it. I know. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please don't be mad at me. Uh okay, so yeah, these guys were in pain, and this lasted several hours, and it was very uncomfortable for them. They were not okay with it. And let me see. And it seemed from this indictment that Jeffries and Matt Smith enjoyed it. They really enjoyed seeing these guys struggle. So let's get to the counts and the what they are actually being charged with, because there's some more details. So count one, sex trafficking. The allegations above are realleged and incorporated and fully set forth in the paragraph I'm about to read. Between December 2008 and March 2015, within the Eastern District of New York and elsewhere, defendants Michael Jeffries, Matthew Smith, and James T. Jacobson, who I've also referred to as Jim Jake, did knowingly and intentionally recruit, entice, harbor, transport, provide, obtain, maintain, by any means, one or more persons in and affecting interstate commerce, and did benefit financially and by receiving anything of value from participation in a venture which engaged in such acts, knowing and in reckless disregard of the fact that means of human force, threats of force, fraud, and coercion, as described above, meaning they promised them Abercrombie gigs. So I'm going to skip through some of the junk. And you know what? Let me get to the last page for you guys so you can see it. Where? There it is. That's count one. Let's go to, oh wait, hold on. Am I there yet? Okay. Oh yes, I am there yet. I'll let you guys see it too. You're funny. You've never actually, yeah, it's funny. I guess I haven't either. Um, I I just would imagine it's strange for a guy. I mean, yes, I love you too, and I know we really would. I feel like all of you guys are my friends. I'm such a loser. I'm like, are we friends? Are we friends? No, I'm just kidding. Uh, and Steve, thank you so much. I really appreciate you saying that it's okay that I put you on the spot like that. Oh, that's interesting. Some guys, Viagra doesn't work on them. Geez, I wonder why. Some kind of condition, or I guess I don't know, or it could just be like some people have a high tolerance for drugs, or I don't know. Oh, by the way, do you like my mug? It's so October. Okay, so let's just go back to count two, because there's a list of John Does, as you can see. So this is count 2 through 16, interstate prostitution. The allegations contained in paragraphs 1 through 11 are realleged and incorporated as set forth. Okay. So, and you know what's weird? Sorry, I didn't read this out loud. One of the defendants, James Jacobson, who is also known as Jim Jake, they gave him other names such as Mrs. Cook and Todd. That's so strange. I don't know why, but I'll have to dig into that. Really strange. So, they did knowingly and intentionally persuade, induce, entice, and coerce individuals to travel in interstate and foreign commerce to engage in prostitution as described as below. So we've got 8 John Does, and it looks like a lot of these guys were assaulted and abused for multiple years. Oh, 15. There we go. 15. I guess my only question here, and I don't want this to come off as insensitive, but there's dates, right? Like this says from, let's see, this page 2008 to 2010. I guess I'm just confused at why one would go back, and I'm sure there are reasons. So, bye Disney. Thanks for joining. Have a good day at work, Amanda. Um, so I'm sure there are reasons. I'm sure maybe they kept saying, oh, I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe they said, oh, well, the catalog. Because you remember when there was like the actual physical catalogs? Maybe they said the catalog isn't ready. It's continually being pushed back. So these guys kept I don't know, kept this up. I can't figure it out because I feel like if that happened to me, whew, I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. So a lot of these guys, this happened to them for many, many years, and I don't know why. So, criminal forfeiture allegation as to count 1, the United States hereby gives notice to the defendants upon their conviction of the offense charged in count 1, the government will seek forfeiture. So, they're basically going to take all of Jeffrey's properties, his apartment, and I haven't looked up his. I could probably do it right now, but I haven't looked up like how much his homes are worth. But I'm willing to bet it's, gosh, a Hamptons house in Watermill. Yeah, that's a lot of money. I would guess like $5 million if I had to. I'm just pulling up his background right now. Guessing he's from New York. Let's see what comes up. Yeah, so and then his Manhattan apartment, I'm sure it was some kind of ridiculous townhouse that probably also cost millions of dollars, but let's see. Mike Jeffries, Yonkers, New York, 50. How old is Mike Jeffries? Does anybody know? Let me just Google that so I get the right guy. Oh, God. Oh my gosh. Guys, he's 80. Did you know that? What? He's 80 years old? Am I seeing this right? What? Sorry. Yeah. Yo, he's 80. Okay, I'm a little confused here. So he was a 70-year-old man. No wonder Viagra was involved. This makes so much sense now, guys. Yes, right now he is 80 years old. Homie is gonna die in prison in federal pen. That's crazy. Okay, let me go. Okay, so 80 years old. Now that I know, here we go. It says he's from Columbus, Ohio, perhaps. Yeah, there's only one man on this report that's 80 years old, and he hails from Columbus, Ohio. Let's see if this is him. Um, I think this is him. Let's see if it has any information on his properties. It says he has some Beverly Hills properties at one point, Manhattan Beach, Los Angeles. Okay. 316 West 84th Street, New York, New York. Okay, he was an Upper West Sider. That's interesting. I'll look that up in a second. He's got a lot of Ohio properties. This seems to be another 336 West 80. Yeah. He's got, oh yeah, this is definitely him. It has all the Abercrombie stuff. Let's just look up how much the 81st Street apartment was, or 84th Street, I should say. There's 2 of them right here. He has a lot of homes. Wow. Okay. I cannot believe he's 80. I'm freaking out. This guy, who he kind of reminds me of? He kind of reminds me of Gary Busey in a way. And I actually really like Gary Busey. I'm not trying to throw shade. I really do. So, oh, well, this is strange. The 2C, oh, this is saying that it's 550 square feet. It's a studio, it sounds like. So maybe this was like an you know, a little F pad or something. Who knows? Oh yeah, Carrie, that's so normal. I cannot imagine if I had to date now. I would feel horrible. I mean, I would feel horrible for the person that I was going on dates with because I would just be a complete psychopath. So, oh my gosh, and don't even get me started when my kids start to date. Hell no. I mean, that's going to be horrible for my children. And for whoever they date. So, okay, that apartment doesn't matter. That's not even ew. I'm confused about that. That's super weird. But you know, there was a press conference. I was gonna play that, but I'm not going to because I want to get to I want to get to the Diddy lawsuits that were recently filed. So I'm just gonna pull those up. I'm gonna pull unless you guys want to keep talking about the I mean, I feel like that this is pretty cut and dry. This this case it's a pretty much in my opinion, it's kind of a shoe in. They did it. They've got all these men that will corroborate this and they have all the names or the grand jury has all the names. So I'm pretty sure that this is happening. Oh my gosh, Simi, you have 5 daughters? God bless you. Holy moly. That's amazing. You're such a good mom. Uh, Abercrombie and Epstein. Yeah, I think of course. I think at this point they seem to have run in the same circles except for the fact that if you look so he also had a place on West 67th Street. I mean, I think they probably encountered each other. Oh, wait a minute. He had a Palm Beach house. Ooh, there we go. All right, Steve, there's the connection. Palm Beach right there. If you guys are also interested, uh, I know, totally. But if you're interested, I actually live where do I live? I live about 7 blocks from Jeffrey Epstein's townhouse. And this townhouse is allegedly where a lot went down. So at one point, this was 2 summers ago, I was very heavy on TikTok and I would go to Jeffrey Epstein's townhouse because again it's very close by and it was bought I believe in 2019 maybe. So they were gutting it. I mean, this place was obviously being gutted for obvious reasons. So I would go there and I would try to talk to the construction guys who really didn't speak English. And I had my phone, I was recording them. I could go back into my TikTok probably and play this. Maybe I will. I'm just embarrassed of the way I sound and what I was doing. It's like, I don't know, I was being obnoxious. And I was more of a TikToker. I wasn't being very serious. But I'd say, oh, listen, I'll go get you a whatever you guys want. You want cigarettes? You want whatever? Just let me peek inside. And they were like, bitch, get out of here. And so I would always try to look in. And then one day I arrived once again, and they had this plastic sheet up, which is like a heavy duty construction plastic thing because they really had to keep the door open in order to make their whole process efficient. They couldn't keep lugging stuff in and shutting the door and whatever, but they just didn't want people to be doing what I was doing. So all of a sudden I was like, shoot, oh my gosh. So if you're interested, I can go over there at some point when I have time and I can go live and show you guys everything. Yeah, it was, I don't know. I'll have to find this. I'll try to quickly find the TikTok, but thank you so much. I should be better about boots on the ground because I do live in New York City, but I just feel like sometimes with my children's schedules, I feel more like a stay-at-home mom half the time because I am doing all this shuttling. So, I'll get better. I did not see Prince Andrew, but if you guys did watch that Netflix movie, I forget what it's called. It was the one about the BBC reporter. That is where Prince Andrew, hung out and was walking out of at the beginning. And that house or that townhouse, when you walk in, allegedly, and actually I believe this to be true. Yes, the Prince Andrew interview. That famous picture of Bill Clinton in the blue dress with the red heels on was actually hanging in the living room. So it was there for everyone to see right when you walked in. And apparently, Epstein loved it. He did that on purpose. And Clinton actually didn't mind it either. Here, I'll pull it up right now just so you guys all know what I'm talking about. Uh, let me see. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I'm sure that you do. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Here it is. Oops. This one. Yeah? Okay. Yeah. So that picture was hanging in Jeffrey Epstein's living room for forever, basically. And they all they loved it. So including Bill Clinton. Ugh. And I always wondered, do you guys think this is a Monica thing, right? Like this is Monica's blue dress. I just got totally sidetracked. I wasn't even going to do Epstein. Here we go. But Steve, I love that you asked. I really love that you asked. So I'm gonna try to look up that TikTok really quick of me outside of Epstein's townhouse. But I should figure out a live just to go over there. Uncovering. Let me see. Oh, I have a Jeffrey Epstein playlist, don't I? That is helpful. Okay, here we go. I found it. Oh my gosh. I'm like so embarrassed of some of my old TikToks. Hex and Co. Yeah, that's the game place. I actually go there with my kids and play board games and stuff, if that's what you're referring to. Is that what you're referring to? Um I know, Steve, I love it. We should do something on Epstein because I have a whole file on him that I need to go through. But let me share my old TikTok screen and see if I can get this for you guys before I just go into Diddy. And somebody tell me when Boone is back because I don't want to keep anybody. But okay, here's my Jeffrey Epstein playlist. Oh, here is one of them. Oh God, was this one of them? Can you hear? Can you just? Can I ask you if it's huge in there? Is it nice? Is it nice in there? No. Bye, guys. I'm sorry. Are you mad? Hate myself. I just tried to walk into Jeffrey Epstein's townhouse. I tried to talk to the construction guys doing it, and they were like very serious and saying, "You got to get out of here. You got to get out of here." And I was like, "Why? Am I like, you didn't do anything?" And he's like, "Yeah, but you're going to get us in trouble. They have cameras. We're not allowed to talk to anyone about this place." I was like, "Okay, relax." Wow. Somebody should have told me that that was not a great hair color for me. And my eyebrows are, I mean, I I'm actually kind of pissed at everybody in my life. This wasn't like high school. This was 2 years ago. Nobody liked me or something. They let me do that to myself. That's annoying. Um, I know I have more of, I swear I have more of that was one. Maybe I don't know. Oh, wait, here's another one. In 2016, a lawsuit alleged that Trump raped a 13-year-old girl in Epstein's townhouse in 1993. In 2016, a lawsuit alleged that Trump raped a 13-year-old girl in Epstein's townhouse in 1993. Yeah, so that was the townhouse where, yeah, the Trump rape was alleged as well. And then what was this one? Jeffrey Epstein had a picture of Bill Clinton in a blue dress and heels hanging on his wall. Yeah, these are like, okay, I will have to go back and I'll have to go back and do something something interesting about this. But this was also, wait, this is the last thing. This was my favorite soundbite. This was from Michael Jackson. I was so obsessed with this right when the docs were about to come out.
None of it's true. None of it's true. It's BS. They made it up. They lie. None of it's true.
I loved that so much. Okay. So anyway, so I will definitely get back to I'll get back to Epstein for sure. But let's just pull up the Diddy lawsuits really quick, or I'm going to pull up the one that let's pull up the 13-year-old girl lawsuit, Jane Doe in Alabama. We'll just switch gears for that. I'm so glad that you guys like that. If you want, you can follow my nonsense. My TikTok is a little more contained at this point because I really have been working very hard the last 2 years to become a serious reporter. Ew, Carrie, how dare you? Oh, wait. Oh, okay. I get it now. Okay, I get it. I get it. I'm like, you're comparing me to Jennifer McCabe. I don't like that. So, okay, let's get to the 13-year-old Jane Doe lawsuit. So, before I'm going to pull this up right now, but before I get to that, I did want to discuss quickly the Los Angeles businessman lawsuit who did work with Diddy. He sold him some jewelry and they did work together. Actually, I'll pull that one up first because I have to show you guys something that was a bit confusing to me very quickly. And you can decide for yourself because I was slightly confused about this. This was, yes, the businessman. So the businessman, and sorry for jumping around so much, but this, I'll just show you. Okay, so the businessman goes to Diddy's house because he's invited to this Ciroc event. And he thought, like, wow, I'm so lucky to be invited because, I don't know him well, but we do enough business together. And Diddy told him there would be other celebrities there that, he could make connections with and whatever. So why wouldn't you go? Of course. Right. So here, I'm pulling this up right now. So he goes and he shows in this lawsuit, he actually shows pictures of celebrities, but their faces are blurred out. Where is it? These take forever. My gosh. Their faces are blurred out, but he said, there's everybody sitting there. They're just, there it is, discussing Ciroc. No big deal. All good. All good. So, oh, oops, sorry, guys. Discussing Ciroc. Really? Discussing Ciroc. And how do I get this? This is so annoying. I want to make this bigger for you. There we go. Everything's good. They're having a little meeting. He feels special. And then Diddy says to him, come to my office alone. I want to talk to you. And he says, okay, cool. So he is given a drink when he first arrives. Also, how could I forget that? Same MO. And he starts to feel woozy. So when he gets into Diddy's private office, he starts to feel strange. And then he alleges that Diddy began awkwardly moving closer to him. And then Diddy removed his pants and exposed himself to be plaintiff. I'm actually going to change this banner right now, guys. He exposed himself to the plaintiff and he's like, what's happening? He actually said in the lawsuit, he's like, I can't believe this is happening. I honestly don't believe it. So Diddy starts grabbing at him, allegedly. He starts grabbing his junk through his pants, and he actually says he squeezed them in a rough and sexual manner. He was shocked, disoriented, and momentarily frozen, and he didn't know how to respond to all the weird sexual advances. And that's when he says the situation escalated until another individual, professional athlete A, entered the office and intervened. Okay, we can all guess, we don't know who it was that intervened. Hey, Sam, or bye, Sam. Sorry. Have a good day. We don't know who intervened, but what is confusing to me, or it was, I think I've figured this out, but at the end, he says this: to help plaintiff document this encounter, plaintiff took a photograph of the Ciroc vodka he gave to him at the party that Combs ultimately sexually assaulted plaintiff at. It's shown below. I kind of, at first, when I read this, I was like, wait, did he assault him with a Ciroc bottle? And then I was like, no. He did not. He did not. No. I don't think so. I think he just kept that as this momentum to remember. That's what I took that as. But at first I was very confused and I thought that he did do something to him. So yeah, this one is interesting. I don't know. I guess I don't know what, and I don't want this to come out wrong, but I guess I don't know how much money would you get from, let's just be frank here, a dick grab, right? Like I don't know. How much money are you expecting to get? What are you, so this lawsuit, it's an interesting one. It's not the worst I've seen. It's the same MO, I guess, that we've been reading about. However, the 13-year-old one, I'm going to go and share this with you guys because I find this one to be very, very disturbing. Because if I had to speculate on this one, I would think that, unfortunately, I would have to think that J-Lo would be involved in this one. And I think this for a number of reasons, because of the fact that this lawsuit, she is alleging, Jane Doe, the 13-year-old, that it took place in the year 2000 after the VMAs, which were held in September, and J-Lo and Diddy were dating in September of the year 2000. They rolled to the VMAs together. They rolled out of the VMAs together. So the fact that at the climax, that's a horrible word to use. Oh my gosh. At the pinnacle of the lawsuit, the Jane Doe, the 13-year-old, alleges that Diddy assaulted her while female celebrity A and female celebrity B watched and held her down. And then female celebrity A helped hold her down while the male celebrity B watched. So it's pretty bad, pretty bad. So a lot of people were confused about how this 13-year-old girl wound up at the apartment of, or the home of Sean Combs. And I'm guessing here that this took place at his New Jersey mansion. So he had a mansion in New Jersey, and this was the VMA after party. So what happened was, it sounds like this 13-year-old girl, she snuck out. She got dropped off by a friend at Radio City Music Hall, and she was trying to get into the VMAs and she couldn't. But Diddy's driver had said to her, I can't get you into the VMAs, but you are exactly what Sean Combs would be looking for his after party. And he said, quote, she fit what Diddy was looking for. So he said, I can't get you into the awards, but come to the after party. Maybe you can just meet me here around 9:30 or 10 p.m. and I'll take you to the party. And she did. So, and it's weird. Like I guess I wonder, I never know kids' ages nowadays. I'm so bad about these ages, but God, a 13-year-old, I guess some of them have the ability to look much older. So maybe she looked, and not that this is any better at all, but maybe she looked 16 or 17 and he's like, well, but so after they said, she returned to the driver, she's very excited. And after 20 minutes, she arrives at a large white house with a giant U-shaped driveway. And the 20 minutes checks out to me because New York City and New Jersey, it's really easy to get to New Jersey when you're on the west side, and Radio City Music Hall is on the west side. So in order to cross over, it really could take you 15 minutes. So I believe that's pretty accurate. So she gets there, and once inside, two men asked her to sign an NDA informing her that she couldn't discuss what happens at the party. She gave them her name and signed it, but didn't receive a copy herself. I mean, obviously, when you're 13 years old, you're not going to be like, may I have a countersigned copy, please? Like, who would think of that? So she gets into the party, and she said she recognized a lot of celebrities in the living room. So though a wait staff was carrying tons of drinks, there was loud music playing throughout the house, and she observed a lot of drug use, including weed and cocaine. And then she said she accepted a reddish, yellowish mixture that tasted like orange juice, cranberry juice, and something bitter. Now, here is the photographic evidence. After drinking one drink, she started to feel woozy, lightheaded, and she needed to lie down. So this is a photograph of a container used by Sean Combs and or his associates to insert GHB into alcoholic drinks. I don't really know what the pen is for. Maybe it's just to poke it open or something like that. I'm not sure. So she was looking for a place to rest because she needed to lie down. So she walked into what she believed to be an empty bedroom. She didn't lock the door. And then soon after, Diddy, along with a male and female celebrity, came into the room and he approached her and he said, with a crazed look in his eye, allegedly, "Ooh, you're ready to party." And then he threw the plaintiff towards the other male celebrity who removed her clothes. And then she was held down by that celebrity A while Diddy allegedly raped her. I'm sorry, the celebrity raped her first while Diddy and the female celebrity watched. So then after that male celebrity finished, Diddy then raped her while the other two watched. I mean, I'm sick to my stomach. Oh, thank you so much for that size comparison. You're absolutely right. So I feel like if I did have to speculate, why wouldn't it be J Lo? I mean, they were dating. She, why wouldn't it be her? Why would I mean, I guess I don't want to. I feel like that could be damaging for me to accuse, of course, but it just makes sense. I guess it makes sense. So this is very disturbing. After it was all finished, he then attempted the plaintiff, when all of that was done, to perform oral sex, but she resisted by hitting him in the neck, and then she stopped, and then she grabbed her clothes and her shoes, left the bedroom, roaming naked through the house, looking for the exit as the party continued. I mean, these parties must have been so wild that nobody even looked twice at somebody just walking through the house naked. That's crazy to me. Like I mean, I have yet to speak to someone that went to a Diddy party. I haven't spoken to any celebrities. I mean, ideas on the mail. I mean, Usher. No, I don't know. Usher, I don't know if you guys saw what's going on with Usher, but he needs to shut his mouth right now. I'll just leave it at that. He needs to shut his mouth. So she's roaming naked through the house. And when she was outside, that's when she put her clothes on and she fled the scene in the dark. And it says eventually she reached a gas station. I'm not, this is tough for me, the gas station part in New Jersey and in the burbs, and many of you probably live in the burbs. I mean, it's really ill lit. It must have been very difficult for her to get anywhere in the dark, number one. And number two, these neighborhoods, and I'm assuming especially Diddy, he had this huge mansion. I'm sure it was, very, very, I guess, far away from things like this. But you know what? I also could look that up as well to see if there is a New Jersey address, and I will do that right now as I go through it. So I'll just tell you this from memory. She went to the gas station, and the gas station attendant saw that she was in distress and allowed her to use the phone to call her dad. So she admitted that she lied about her whereabouts and she asked her dad to come and pick her up. And then after this assault, she fell into a deep depression, which continued to affect every facet of her life. I do not doubt that for a second. Now, I just pulled up Sean Combs, 52 years old. There we go. Let me see if there's a better. Is he 54 or 52? Oh, no, here he is. He's 54. Okay. If there is a New Jersey address on here, I'll be able to see it on a map. But again, I'm thinking about this too. I don't think they would still have security footage from the gas station, right? From 20 years ago. It's too bad. Or if this female attendant would remember this incident. I mean, who knows? But if she did, that would be amazing. I mean, that would be incredible. So going back to the location, West 56th Street, Broadway, New Rochelle, Mount Vernon. This is all New York. White Plains, New York. Saddle River, New Jersey. Okay. There's also an apartment he had in Paterson, New Jersey. Just making sure there's no other New Jersey. Okay, he's a P.O. box in New Jersey, Dallas, Texas. God, this guy has so many places. Rockefeller Center. He had a place in Georgia. We know East Hampton, Detroit. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's go to his. This is the only New Jersey address that's listed for Sean Combs besides the P.O. box. And well, there's an apartment, but I'm going to go ahead and guess that this did not happen at an apartment because it was a VMA after party. All right, let's look this up. I'm going to share this with you guys. Oh, wow. This is the house. Let me make this bigger for you guys. So it's a really long driveway. Jeez. And this is kind of what I figured when I'm thinking about these celebrity mansions, and I'm like, all right, they're very secluded, very yeah, long driveway. How do I get okay, whoa. What? So this is where the after party was, most likely, unless he had another home in New Jersey that he got rid of, which is very possible. Saddle River, New Jersey. Let me just look up Saddle River, New Jersey to NYC distance. Yeah, it says, oh, okay, it says 1 hour right now, but that's probably because there's traffic right now. I'm guessing that, yeah, that's interesting. The 20-minute thing, I guess, wouldn't really check out if it was Saddle River, New Jersey. I'm really not trying to like poke holes in this, I swear. I'm just trying to make sense of all of it. Because I do believe this girl. I totally believe this girl. Okay, let's go back to what is around this area. Burning Hollow Road. Where would be the nearest gas station? I'm just looking. The main road. Ooh, yeah, this is tough. There's not. Oh my goodness. Burning Hollow Road to nearest gas station. Mm, yeah, this is interesting. I to nearest. I mean, when I was 13, I would have just sat outside and cried. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't think I would have known to go and find a gas station. That's right. I mean, what would you guys have done when you were 13? I'm also from New Hampshire. I don't exactly have any street cred here. But yeah, I feel like if I was 13 years old, I definitely wouldn't have walked out in the dark uh, trying to find a gas station. So it looks like the nearest gas station. Mm, I can't tell. Hold on. Okay, it says 6 minutes by car. Now let's see walking. Oh, all right. It's a 50-minute walk to the nearest gas station. So, all right. I mean, yeah, that I believe that checks out. What do you guys think? I think that definitely checks out. She was just roaming for an hour, but also, I guess she didn't want to flag down any cars. She just wanted to walk an hour to a gas station. I mean, I'm not judging. I just give her credit for being 13 years old and wandering out in the dark. Uh, but again, she also was the 13-year-old that was sneaking out, trying to get into the VMAs, and then lied to her parents about going to a party. And I'm not blaming her. I'm just saying she's ballsy, clearly. A lot braver than I would have been. So yeah, that was the 13-year-old girl lawsuit. Now, I'm going to stop sharing all of this really quickly. So the other lawsuits, they did appear to have the same MO that we've seen. And they're it's not that they're not like worth reading. It's just I found these two to be particularly scary. So, and Carrie, I totally agree with you. I would be scared asking a car for help, not knowing if it was someone from the party. That's a great point. I guess I just would have been scared in general. I think what I would have probably done as a 13-year-old is either look for a phone at the party or maybe go next door or something, I just don't think I would have had the balls to walk 50 minutes to a gas station if that's his house and if that was the location of the actual party. So, yeah, and I don't know if you saw the latest Diddy news, but his lawyers and Diddy are saying, we need this gag order because these lawsuits coming out left and right are affecting me getting a fair trial. And it's not that I understand where they're coming from because this is the United States. Everybody deserves a fair trial. And I think this is so hard because I believe all of the lawsuits. But the more that come out, do you guys also feel like some people are rolling their eyes? And I only say this because I made a short on YouTube the other day, and the comments were interesting. They were like, another one. Well, why didn't, this? Why didn't that? And so I don't know. My understanding right now is just that people feel safe to come out because he is behind bars. Also, concurrently, and multiple things can be true, my favorite phrase, the Busby law firm could be really using this for PR, 100%. I and I might be totally off on saying this, but a couple of these lawsuits are Diddy pulling his pants down, exposing himself, grabbing at somebody, allegedly, or vice versa, like Diddy making the person pull down their pants. And so I guess I'm not sure what kind of damages you could seek for that. I'm not a lawyer, clearly. So these are just things that have crossed my mind during all of this because listen, I want this asshole to get a fair trial. I want him convicted fair and square, period. I don't want anything to get in the way of that. So, with that being said, I'm sure all of the trials are back in session right now. Sarah Boone, Leilani Simon. I know that Delphi is not being televised, but there's just a lot going on. So I will be giving updates on some of the trials tonight on my other channel, which is at Primetime Crime Show with Jarrett Ferrantino. If I know some of you guys watch, but if you don't, I would love for you all to tune in. We will be talking Delphi, Boone, Diddy, and also the heartbreaking case of the Kansas moms outside of the Oklahoma Panhandle. And there's been some movement in that case with the suspects. It's that, oh my God, that case just really breaks my heart. And when I say movement, Jarrett and I believe that two of the suspects have flipped and they are taking a deal. And by deal, I mean they're not getting the death penalty. Speculation, not for sure. But anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm working so hard on YouTube, and I'm sorry for my foul language today. I feel like it just kind of came out, and it needed to be out there. I was proving a point. So also, if you have any interest in me going to Jeffrey Epstein's townhouse, please let me know. I will go over there. I will do a live. I will show you the outside. I will show you the creepy little knocker that he has. It's so weird. And just being out there gives me chills in general. So if you have any interest, let me know. I will make it happen. Anything else that I missed? Oh, something big. Go ahead and listen to my podcast from today on The Outlier. I actually interviewed Milli Vanilli, or Fab Morvan from Milli Vanilli, and Damon Elliott, who's the son of Dionne Warwick. And he's a Grammy-winning music producer. But they did a remake of the song Blame It on the Rain, which is a Milli Vanilli song from the 80s, which was used in the Menendez brothers show Monsters on Netflix, which, it's not a great accurate show for the Menendez brothers, but the song is a banger. And it was great to talk to them because Damon Elliott, son of Dionne Warwick, lived on North Elm Drive, right down the street from the Menendez brothers. And I was like, so he's telling me like, oh yeah, I was friends with Eric. My brother was friends with Lyle. And I'm not going to give it away, but he also says some things about Britney Spears as too, because Diane Warren wrote Blame It on the Rain. And if you look up Diane Warren, she's written a lot of music. She's amazing. So, okay, Sheila, I see your comment that you love that. All right, perfect. So, all right, I'll stop talking. Let everybody get back to the trials. And don't forget tonight, 8 p.m., Primetime Crime Live. Up with that 9